to a park that has changed so much in the past decade or so, Disney's Hollywood Studios. This is from my visit back in May, so please cut me some slack for posting this late. I posted 3 in-depth videos since then, and those were a doozy to make. By the way, you should check them out if you haven't, and on to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I'm starting things off by rope dropping straight to Tower of Terror. As of a few years ago, this was definitely my favorite attraction on Disney property. Now, there have been so many new rides recently, I don't know if I could definitively say this one's my favorite, but still, it is for sure up there. Is it controversial for me to say this is probably the best outdoor queue at Walt Disney World? The vibes are on point, the landscaping is pretty, the misters are keeping you cool. If I have to wait outside in the Florida heat, I'm perfectly happy inching my way toward the iconic Hollywood Tower Hotel. This whole attraction, they just nailed it with the story, the theming, the thrill. It is still on point 30 years after this thing opened. I watched the Twilight Zone a lot growing up, so it's pretty cool that a Disney park has a Twilight Zone attraction. And it's this good. And this ride really captures that eerie vibe. It sets the tone as you're walking up with the facade, from the queue to the pre-show to that creepy boiler room to the boarding area to the actual ride itself. Everything about this ride perfectly fits the dark and brooding tone of the Twilight Zone. I know I'm not the only one. I love listening to the lobby music when I'm working at home. I can never spend enough time at this place. What a perfect way to start off the day. Let's keep it moving. On to the second attraction of the day, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Say what you want about this attraction versus the Great Movie Ride. Honestly, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is, this is the ride that currently exists, and I'm gonna appreciate it for that. I don't hold a grudge against Runaway Railway. It still feels grandiose while you're walking into the theater. You gotta love all the little hidden Mickeys all over the place. And the perfect picnic pre-show is a strong contender for the best pre-show at Disney. The ride itself, oh, it's so expressive and it puts me in the absolute best mood. The animation, the gags, the bajillion hidden Mickeys. When you're in Daisy's dance studio, the transformation effect at the end, ooh, it all blows me away. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a little misty-eyed in that final scene. It hits home, and that has got to be the catchiest tune. Nothing can stop me now. It's one of Disney's best earworms. If you're not humming that song all day at Hollywood Studios, I don't even know if you did Runaway Railway. Also, all these years later, it's so nice that finally Disney has a Mickey Mouse ride. And if you ask me, this one does a really good job holding that title. I'm making my way over to Echo Lake for some classic Hollywood Studios attractions. And actually, I'm checking out an attraction I've never done before. If I have, I really don't remember it. That is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular Show. I don't have too much to say about it. It was neat, it was fun, it was a good way to pass some time. And it was good to do something different in the park for once. You just don't see shows on that scale very often. I'm not sure if it was just my viewing or what, but it did feel like there was a lot of setup time and transition time during the show. But the action, hearing John Williams' score, is still a lot of fun. And real quick for those wondering, for lunch I had the teriyaki bowl at Backlot Express. Hey, it's like the ET queue, but outside. It's time for some Star Wars, Star Tours, Star Wars, Star Tours. You can't beat the classic vibes in this place. Seeing R2-D2 and C-3PO. Also, I feel like I'm the last person on Earth to notice this, but I never realized before, this is just Patrick Warburton with a chipmunk voice.
I don't like it's the funny kind.
On the ride itself, I had the biggest, dumbest smile. I was basically fist pumping because I got Tatooine. I'm a sucker for some pod racing. Now to be shrunk down to the size of a toy, I'm headed into Toy Story Land to ride Slinky Dog Dash. This coaster, Oh, it has the most adorable queue. I know it's cliche to say something makes you feel like a kid again, but this area is overflowing with childhood innocence to me, with all the random toys and packages all over. The music is so light but upbeat, with those classic Randy Newman melodies that are just stored in an old dusty part of my brain. It feels so good to be here. And I just gotta say, the Slinky Dog Crayon sketches make me so happy. I can't emphasize how adorable this all is. You've got a Slinky Bird, a Slinky Worm, a Slinky Cat. Where's the Slinky Cat Dash coaster? I want to ride that. I know it's all so simple, but I think that's part of the charm. I think that's why I love it so much. It puts a smile on my face. And can I just say, these are elite ride vehicles. These have got to be some of the best coaster trains out there. And have I mentioned, it's adorable. It brings me joy, okay? Basically, it's just a modified toy coaster set with a Slinky Dog toy strapped on it. The coaster itself, too, it's so fun. It's one of those rides where you just gotta say, you gotta let it out. It has some fun launches, some little attempts at airtime hills, and an incredible ending with Wheezy singing to you. Some people might say it's kinda tacky for Disney, but it all makes me smile. Isn't that all that matters at a theme park? Let's head on over to Rise of the Resistance. I first rode this one a little after it opened a few years ago, and of course I had to go through the trouble of getting a reservation and all that, but once I actually got on the ride, I was absolutely blown away. Before riding it for the first time, I avoided spoilers, and I couldn't believe what I experienced. But because of the reservation system at the time, I only got to ride it once. I couldn't get a second reservation for that day. So ever since then, riding this ride felt like a dream. That reservation system made it so that, for years, the only opinions I had on Rise of the Resistance were based on one single experience. An experience where I was plucked out of the real world for a few minutes and plopped right in the middle of Star Wars. It was spectacular, and I never got that chance to re-experience it until today. I finally got to ride it again. My experience this time around was a little soured because Lightning Lane kicked in, so the standby line moved only every 5 minutes or so. The line came to a dead stop multiple times. The wait was easily somewhere around 2 hours. But putting that to the side, it was still amazing to be here again. That pre-show portion, I can't believe it's only a pre-show. It feels like its own attraction, but it's only the beginning of what you're about to experience. Seeing how the pre-show is basically an attraction in itself, it's really a testament to how far theme parks have come. The way the story builds and has these twists and takes you on a journey. And all while, I feel like I'm part of the story. They did such a good job with this one in every aspect. But this ride, this ride. I got pretty much a perfect ride on it. All the effects were working, except for the ones that are basically permanently shut off at this point. There's way too much to say about Rise of the Resistance. I'm not even really a Star Wars fan, but I think it's safe to say this is the most impressive dark ride I have ever been on. Let's take a little break from Star Wars for peak cinema. Now listen closely, this is real cinema, not that in a galaxy far, far away nonsense. Unfortunately, I walked into the pre-show right as it ended, so I did miss that part, which is basically half the attraction, but it's all good. I don't care how many times I see this show, it is always gonna be funny. Even if I know exactly what jokes are coming, I gotta pay my respects to Muppet Vision 3D. Back to Star Wars for Smugglers Run. This is another attraction with a great pre-show. And can we talk for a second about all the great pre-shows in this park? Tower of Terror, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Rise of the Resistance, Muppet Vision, and now Smugglers Run? Those are elite pre-shows. As much as I would never trust this guy, that is one impressive animatronic. On the ride, unfortunately, I got Engineer. The first probably 2 or 3 times I rode this ride, I got Pilot every single time. And of course at that point, I loved this ride. But ever since then, I've gotten either Gunner or Engineer, and my opinions on this ride have changed a lot since then. This ride is a complete hit or miss. But even still, Smugglers Run is still awesome. You get to step inside the Millennium Falcon, I don't know how to say it. but when a fictional world feels this real, it's special. What else can I say? It's easy to take a ride like this for granted, but it is such a cool, realistic simulation of being in a Star Wars movie. I know I've done a little bouncing back and forth, but it is time to go back to Toy Story, shrink back down to the size of a toy, and go check out Midway Mania. By the way, I think Andy is becoming one of my favorite artists. Bro knows how to scribble some crayons. Just like Slinky Dog Dash, this is another cue, the area and everything, it just melts my heart, it's so adorable. This cue puts the Q in Q. That didn't make sense. What is going on with me? If you're wondering, my score was in the 175,000 range. I may be a Galaxy Defender over at Men in Black Alien Attack, but in the toy world, I guess it's a different story.
Give me another D. Give me another D. What do you got?
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
After a heavy rainstorm and some dinner at the ABC commissary, by the way, I got the buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich, I went to go get a re-ride on Rise of the Resistance. That was something we couldn't do in the past. This time around, the line went by really fast now that it was later in the day, and without as many Lightning Lane guests. It's amazing to be able to ride this whenever I want now. And on this ride through, I rode with a family that was very clearly experiencing it for the first time, and their reactions were priceless. That just goes to show you how good this attraction is. And that's really what it's all about right there. We just want to have fun at theme parks. As the day's coming to a close, there's only a few minutes until Fantasmic. I did want to squeeze another ride on Tower of Terror, but I lost some time in a pretty heavy downpour earlier, so unfortunately that's gonna have to wait until next time. But Fantasmic, this is my first time seeing Fantasmic until it reopened recently. The new additions like the Moana sequence, it really struck a chord with me. It was really beautiful and special. Have I said that enough in this vlog yet? It's special. Disney is special. Fantasmic is a perfect way to cap off a day at Hollywood Studios. It feels cinematic, it feels special, it's larger than life, it's genuinely scary, like whoa, this thing is scary. But it's so cool to hear all that nostalgic music, experience some of the newer Disney properties and franchises, and seeing all the characters together in the effects, and just the spectacle of being under the night sky and this whole nightmare dream sequences unfolding in front of you. Fantasmic is up there as one of the best nighttime spectaculars. Thanks everyone so much for watching this vlog. It was a good day overall. Rock and Roller Coaster was still closed for refurbishment during my visit, so unfortunately I did miss out on that one. But there's more to come with vlogs. Stick around for the next one. I'm gonna head to Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's a park I am completely normal about, and I definitely don't have extreme positive emotions about that park whatsoever. So look forward to that vlog coming up soon. If you don't want to miss out on any future vlogs or any in-depth videos that I'm putting out, make sure to subscribe right here to Storybook Amusement. And I want to give a special thanks to all the Storybook Amusement patrons. Shout out to the producer credits, Parallel Discover and Nick E. Until next time, thanks everyone so much for watching. And be kind, please rewind.